Sergeant, let's go.
Oh, gotcha. Sick. Oh my god.
Hello there, Ryan from the YouTube Frogman, and you know what time it is? It's Call of Duty time! The franchise speaks for itself. Call of Duty is one of the most recognizable games franchises in existence. You know a shooter game, you know Call of Duty. Hosting worldwide success in every corner that it touches. Why don't I like this franchise? Maybe it's a whole thing between first-person shooters and me. I don't exactly get the whole dynamics that you're supposed to go for in the game, and maybe it's a whole I'm mad at it because I'm bad at it. But don't let that fool you. I'm actually going to give this game a chance. I've never had the opportunity to play a modern Call of Duty game before, and with the aptly titled Modern Warfare 2, I think this is the perfect time for me to get my toes into the Call of Duty atmosphere. So let's do what all the pro gamers do. Take our favorite beverage that is not the same color as water, and have a good time.
Shotgunning Mountain Dews aside, it's now time to open Call of Duty after signing into Battle.net and getting a new account. And getting an Activision account, which is separate from that. Does it help my game experience? Does it help give me features that I wouldn't normally have? Stop! I just want to play your game! No, it's just a gatekeeping thing.
That's just one thing that I don't quite get about modern gaming. Why do I need several different accounts just to play the one single game? What possible reason would you need to gather information from me specifically to learn that I play the game? I actually got a letter from Infinity Ward after asking that question. It just says F you.
Alright, that's fine. We can continue on. We just have to boot it up and... There's a bug on launch. For context, I had downloaded this game a day previous, and then there was an update that needed to be had. And now, after all of that, there was something keeping me from playing the game. A bug that should not have been in the final product to begin with. I had to do my own research to fix this, instead of the people who developed the game and published it, doing it, and allowing me to have a good experience.
I've heard horror stories of this. The dreaded day one patch, the multiple bugs infesting the game for weeks, even though this should be a finished product. There's no reason this game costs $70 minimum when you can't even start it up without having to do your own research to fix things.
Regardless, it's time. I'm finally in the menu of the game. It took me over an hour, but I'm here, and it's time for the campaign. I have to restart to play it. There is no reason for it to be like this. This is part of the game. Why am I not allowed to play it? Why is it that I'm being turned at every moment trying to play the single player of an overpriced game for something that is so buggy it's hardly even worth it to get into the game?
What is it with these high-profile games that are so blown away that people want to play single-player games? Why am I having such a miserable experience trying to play the game that they published?
But finally, we're in the game. And it's a little hard to show this, but the graphics are really melting my PC, so I'm going to go into the menu and turn down the graphics a bit. Yeah, this is the world we live in. The first mission has us fly a missile straight into a group of totally not Al-Qaeda terrorist people. And yeah, there's no need to check your TV set. The game is frozen. Even after dropping all of my settings down to the bare minimum, the game still has graphical problems and barely allows me to play.
Oh, I'm not seeing anything. I'm just seeing our manual locked.
Oh, we didn't see anything of that.
How did they expect a normal consumer to play this game.
You know, it's time to put this in context. In the years coming up to this game, the world experienced a graphics card shortage. You were not able to get a graphics card above 6 gigabytes of VRAM because you would be met with a load of scalpers looking to upsell you about over 1,000% on that graphics card. Now, do you think the AAA games company would take pity on us mortals with actual budgets and have a little less fidelity in the games and not worry so much about graphics to the point where it's not even worth the trouble and just completely gatekeeping all the people who have lower end PCs? What do you think happened? I apologize for laboring on this point, but the experience really is everything that I'm going for here. Sure, you can watch Johnny YouTube or some other playthrough of somebody who always has the high-end PC because they get paid to do it, but for people who are just normal day consumers, how are they going to experience this if they're gate kept right away by the PC and hardware?
But after everything we've gone through, we're finally free to do whatever we want in the single player.
So, building 2, let's go.
I'm here, doofus.
Sergeant,
His name's
send
Doofus
instruction
anyways,
down.
that's...
So, building 2, let's go.
The stream is not working, by the way, for me. It's my computer.
I just
my
heard
computer
soap,
hates it. It's
let's
not on
go.
you.
You turned around and just f***ing shot some guy in the face.
He's testing my patience, alright?
Yes, Your Honor, I did do that. In my defense, I was having a bad day.
We continue on through the mission, shooting all the bad guys we can find, because we are on a fixed path and we cannot deviate at all, committing our favorite war crimes along the way.
Oops.
We eventually get to a spot where enemies come to us, and it feels like just a glorified on-rails shooter, being shuttled from point to point, being told where to go and how to do things. It doesn't help that the gunplay just doesn't feel dynamic or fun to me. Enemies go down very easily, except for these armored guys who take way too many hits than what feels right for this franchise. I think it's supposed to show the strength of armor for the Warzone release, but it's just annoying to fight against.
Takedown. Oh, he's wearing heavy armor.
Oh, that's cheating.
What, only the protagonist is around too?
Exactly. Like
Okay.
how I was allowed to live
I don't think any armor would survive no matter how close they are to that type of, regardless of what round it is in the shotgun.
However many rounds of 12 gauge that
What-
was.
Eventually, we come to a stealth section with some poorly defined rules on how I get detected, but I do appreciate that I can continue with the mission even when I blow it. No. Combat axe. Nope. Knife. Then we move on to a low-stress mission, and is there glitter in the streets? No, that's just another graphic bug.
I mean, things are gonna get better, right? I mean, Call of Duty is known for its airtight gameplay and super cool shooting fun. Right?
As I went into the next few missions, I came across some kind of fun moments and some moments that I really couldn't handle. During one section of a mission, some heavy armored guys approached me in a ghillie suit, and if I stayed still, they wouldn't see me. Due to the mission, they always walk right towards me, and the final group glitched out and stood on top of me for about 2 minutes not moving. As I sat there wondering how this came to be in a AAA release, I asked myself, did I really want to continue playing this game?
No. I mean, sure, some of the moments in the campaign were interesting, but a lot of it is just waiting for enemies to come by and then you just shoot them down. And sure, Call of Duty does shooting people very well. Kind of. I don't like the guns. I don't think they're very cool. None of them have any good kick to them, except for the shotguns, which 90% of the time you're never going to use because you're always out in the field shooting waves of baddies because why actually go into buildings? There are definitely high points. There are very good, unique things happening in certain sections. Like that driving part where you're hanging from a helicopter and then you gotta commandeer an enemy car. Granted, it's very absurd and kind of flies in the face of this gritty realism that I think they're trying to go for. And that's another thing. I have no idea if these characters are supposed to be realistic or larger than life figures. That weirdo with the skull mask on the box art makes a lot of appearances, but I don't get any read off of him. He's just there, and I presume it's for nostalgia, but as somebody whose first game is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, I don't know who he is. And he doesn't seem like a guy that I should care about. But fine, I hear you. I can hear you loud and clear that Call of Duty is not meant for single player. I would ask why it's included if it's going to be as bad as it is. But regardless, we're here for the multiplayer. The multiplayer where everything comes together and everything is there in the package meant for release. Do you want to know my experience with multiplayer when I first got into a game?
What the fuck? Am I getting the Call of Duty experience yet? Nothing about the multiplayer jumps at me as something that I should be excited about. There's nothing here that hasn't been done better by this very franchise. And apologies for not seeing a lot of this part of the game out. I'm just gonna take the public opinion on this mode. It feels like an AI-generated hodgepodge of things that everybody asked for, which by itself isn't a bad thing, but there's nothing that feels special. There's nothing that I can cling to. It's just the exact thing you expect from a franchise that releases games exactly on time for full price every year. And that's ignoring the fact that the operators were next to useless. I have no idea if I even played as any of them, and the weapon progression is so bad it made me want to cry tears of blood. Apparently you have to get a gun to level 20 before you can modify its optics, and level progression is painfully slow for this game. Johnny Killboy might drop 30 kills a game, but for me in my games, I only got my gun to level 3, and there are loads of other items behind experience walls, meaning I'd have to suffer through more of the intended experience. Oh god, oh my god.
I just can't do it. I don't think I can give an unbiased review for a game that I don't even think is even geared towards me. This game broke me in a lot of different ways. It was impossibly hard to even start the game, and whenever I played it, it always felt like it was resisting me, trying to get me to stop. And whenever I did play along with it, I was just met with mountains and mountains of experience walls that I did not have the patience nor time to get through. As I become older, and I presume as the audience of Call of Duty grows older, time becomes much less available to you as you grow up. Meaning you can't spend all this time, hours and hours a day, grinding for this thing that you want. It's actively harmful, and I think the gameplay and culture surrounding Call of Duty is not something that should be trifled with. And if you want to talk about being harmful, these are still the tears of blood I mentioned. I just drank so much dang Mountain Dew trying to be a good gamer that it changed the color to the drink!